Hello, you handsome devils and devilisses. My name's Caleb. I got married at 18 years old, and we just celebrated our 5-year anniversary. So we did it. We made it. We're going for 5 more years, hopefully. I'm making this video just to share some takeaways, 4 takeaways that I've learned after being married for 5 years. Hopefully you find this valuable. Just to clarify some things before diving in, is our marriage perfect? Yes. Have we made mistakes? No. So if you're planning on getting married ever or are currently married, you're in the right place. Marriage is kind of like when someone tells you about something when you're a kid, like about this amazing place like Six Flags or Disney World. And I've never been to Disney World. My parents never took me to Disney World, so shame on them. Mom, Dad, if you're watching this, you have a few years left of life, and there's still some time to take me. But essentially, when you build this picture in your head, you're like, oh, it's gonna be so amazing. There's like the roller coasters and the food and the experiences and the buildings, and you're like, you build this thing in your mind where it's like, this is what it's gonna be like. This is how it's gonna look. Marriage is kind of like that. You have this picture in your head typically, and then you get there and it's completely different than what you expected. In a lot of ways, it's better than what you imagined. The feeling of being on the roller coasters, the food, like the experience, the magic of it all. And there's a lot of things that you're like, I don't feel like I remember people telling me about all this. I don't remember people saying how long the lines were, or that there was this much walking around that I have to do. Or like, no one told me after 3 rides I was gonna throw up. So marriage is kind of like that. Marriage is like thinking about what Disney World is gonna be like, and then actually going to Disney World and experiencing it for yourself. Except you can leave Disney World. So my first takeaway after being married for 5 years is your worldview, and just as importantly, or more importantly, the worldview of your partner, you sharing the same worldview, is more important than how you feel about that person initially. My wife and I were lucky that we actually had it kind of backwards. Starting out, we started as friends, and we really, really bonded over our worldview about God, about people, all that kind of stuff. And we built that foundation of a friendship before even dating, before getting married. This sounds crazy, but we actually decided we were gonna get married before we actually started dating. I think it's really served us in our marriage because we had this baseline of friendship and bonding over things that were very important, like worldview. And that has really helped us, because when your emotions are going crazy and you're in the thick of it, you end up falling back on your actual worldview, how you view people, how you view yourself, and what your responsibility and mission in life is. And more importantly, your worldview on marriage. Like, what do I think marriage is? Like, is it really sacred? Is it something that matters? Or is it just that thing that I just jumped into? Finding someone that has a similar worldview and building that friendship before going into marriage will help a lot. And if you're already married and you kind of just did the magic romance thing and then got married, some of you watching probably a little Las Vegas 24-hour after meeting wedding. It's probably very hard to build that similar worldview and friendship after marriage, but it's obviously possible, because most marriages for all of history have been arranged marriages, and those people kind of had to just build their friendship after they got married. So I'm sure it's possible. But we didn't have to do that. Second takeaway is humor is necessary. My parents growing up is really where I learned this lesson from. So my mom and dad, if they were ever kind of arguing and it was getting kind of heated and it seemed really tense, my dad would just like crack a joke or make a witty comment. And of course we were like, oh my gosh, what did he just do? But my mom would typically appreciate or like give him that look. But you could tell, no matter how she reacted or whatever, like that both of their moods were a little bit better. It was a little bit more lighthearted moving forward, and it was like, oh, that seemed to actually kind of help. So I have adopted that in my marriage, and if my wife, for example, is very serious about something, bringing something up, sometimes she accidentally, unknowingly, gives me the perfect opportunity to make a comment or a joke that I find funny. And most of the time, I take that opportunity. And obviously, sometimes it's not appropriate, sometimes you shouldn't. If you both respect humor and like you respect an opportunity to make something a little bit more lighthearted, it's something you can really bond over and something to like cut through the tension of the moment. And even just as a general day-to-day, like if I'm too serious for too long, it's just like, ugh. You all know that people that person that frequents your Thanksgiving or family dinners, or that one person that is in the friend group that they're just so serious, and it seems like they don't understand any jokes and everything is just so serious. It's like, bro, just lighten up a little bit. Like life is not that serious. A really good example of this in World War II, the Jews being put in the concentration camps in Auschwitz, they probably were in a worse situation than you're in right now, or that any of us have ever come close to. They had their whole life stripped away, their dignity taken away. I read this book called Man's Search for Meaning. He talked about how they were constantly making witty jokes or being humorous or being lighthearted about certain things. If they were in that horrible situation and they could make jokes and be lighthearted, it's probably something that you can do too, because your situation's not like that. So if you don't have a good sense of humor, if you don't know how to be funny, I can't relate to you. And I think you have bigger problems than marriage, and you should probably figure that out and then come back and finish the video. My third takeaway is don't try to change your spouse. Anytime I'm trying to change something about my wife or presenting something to her that I'm like, this needs to change, it's usually me projecting my own issues, things that in my life I know could be better or I should be improving on, and I'm just like projecting it onto her. Before you go to your partner and try and help them change or try and change them, really get alone with yourself and be like, are there things that I'm avoiding that I want to change about myself that I'm not? If everything's going well, you're improving in all the areas of your life, it's a lot easier to inspire your partner to change. I don't know why I've done this in the past, but I'll just be like, Katya, like, have you been working out? Like, and she's like, what are you talking about? And typically I'm just like frustrated. I'm like, oh, I get alone with myself and I'm like, I need to work out. Sounds stupid, but I've done this in our marriage where I just immediately am like, this is my spouse, I can change them and it'll be easy for me to change if we're both changing at the same time. But it's not necessarily easier to change your spouse than other people. It is much easier for you to focus on yourself, change, improve, and then just take that to your spouse and be like, hey, I've been working out for like 6 weeks and I feel amazing. Like, have you been working out? I know we both want to be fit together. And I know that we both want to be 80 years old and still be able to walk, and not be crippled because we didn't take care of our bodies. So change yourself first. Don't try to change your spouse at all, ever. It comes across wrong. It's weird. Just be inspirational, love them. Typically, they want to change as well. They just want to see an example. Number 4, don't regret anything ever. You know, homeless people, those pesky homeless people, deadbeat alcoholic dads who aren't providing for their family, those people are a level 10. They have like the most regret, but their life is not good, and it's not, usually you don't really see it going anywhere or changing, but they have the most regret. So obviously regret is not conducive to change. You're not going to change your circumstance by regretting more. It feels good to regret. You're kind of like holding your past self prisoner and punishing them. People don't like to be around that. And I know that you don't like being around yourself. I don't like being around myself or being with myself when I'm like really regretting. Instead, what you can do is be grateful. Oh, that was easy. Yeah, so stop regretting and just be grateful. problem solved. No, but think about the things that you are appreciative of. Like, I'm grateful that I have a spouse, that I have a marriage. I'm grateful that I have kids. Grateful that I have a house, that I have a job, that I have a business, that I have the ability to work with my hands and get better and improve. If you focus on what you're grateful for, it allows you to be present. And when you're in a grateful state and you're present, you can actually change. You can take action. You can make your future better. You can, all the things that you're grateful for, you see opportunities to make those things better, make your family's life better, make your job better, make your business better. But when you're regretting, you're kind of like putting these like handcuffs on yourself, and you're just like stuck because you're in the past. You're not even here. You're just somewhere in the past, like being angry about stuff. Don't do it. It's bad, and it doesn't help anything. It does feel good. It's addicting to regret, but it's wrong. Why do marriages end in divorce? Oh my goodness, I don't know. Probably because you picked your own marriage. I think if you had an arranged marriage, you probably would have a much less chance of being divorced. Just kidding, but that's what the statistics show. No, I think it's for one reason. And I'll give a story to explain this reason. So there was like this famous general, I think it was a Spanish general, and they all took ships and they went to a faraway land to destroy these people in battle. And when they arrived, they got off the ships, they boarded the land, and the general did something kind of crazy. He had all of their ships burned. Imagine being there, being like, all right, we're gonna fight this battle, and then your commander just burns all of your ships, and now there's no way off of this land. They won the battle because there was no other option. So in marriage, winning the battle is staying married, essentially. If there's an exit plan, if there's a plan B, if divorce is like, if this doesn't work out how I'm hoping it does, if it doesn't play out like that imaginary Disney World scene I had in my head, I can always leave and get a fresh new start, whatever. We don't have that. We don't believe that. We burn the ships. Literally, we have burned many ships. Do not share this with the authorities, but no, we burned the divorce ship. It's going into marriage, we were never like, oh, I think divorce is kind of okay. Sometimes, like, obviously there's crazy circumstances, and I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about almost everybody, is that if you have that backup plan, you're more likely to take that backup plan. If you burn the ships, if divorce isn't a thing in your mind, you're a lot less likely to board that ship and leave. So I know that's very simple, but I think that's why we're not going to get divorced, and I think that could help you if you hope to not get divorced. If you're not married, get married. If you are married, have children, stay married, and this world will be a better place. I'm going to be posting a lot more videos so that me and you, we can build a relationship virtually, and our love for each other can grow. I love you all, and good night.